Williams, so sorry. So, Miss Evans, the fine, like I said, the fines are statutory. For the second offense, that would be no pros. The third would be a $200 fine, and you would enter the plea of nolo. The $200 would be $298 with the surcharges. The fourth would be $100 fine. It will be $150 with the surcharges. Now, that's a lot of money, but what we could do is give you up to 60 days to pay. If you needed more time than that, I can put you on 12 months pay only probation. And what that means is your two requirements are that you report for probation and that you pay. The quicker you pay, the quicker you'll be off probation. So say you were able to pay all of that within the second month or the third month, your probation would end at that time. But you would have up to 12 months to pay it all if you needed the additional time.
Your Honor, I had just recently completed the class for a prior to get my license reinstated. I was living in my car at the time, and I had that car towed to my mother's apartments. So I was living out of that car, and the plates that were on there were from the tow company. So I'm not going to plead guilty because we even called the worker, the man who was supposed to put the paperwork in for relinquishing the suspension on my license. And so I wasn't with a suspended license. I wasn't driving, and the plates weren't even mine. They belonged to the tow company. They took my car and everything.
Did you wish to enter a plea of not guilty and either have a trial by jury or a bench trial?
Yes, because I'm 4.5 months pregnant. I don't have the money. I'm just getting on my feet, and I don't have a car right now at this time. But I just paid for all those classes to get out of suspension, so I'm not going to pay when I wasn't under suspension.
Okay, so here's what you do. Now, it's up to you whether you have an attorney to represent you at that time or not, but we're going to put you on a trial calendar. Did you wish to have a bench trial before a judge or a jury trial before a judge and a jury?
Bench trial is fine. I would also like to be appointed an attorney.
Okay, so I'm going to appoint the law firm of Lister, Holt, and Dennis. What I'm going to ask you to do is to use the chat function to chat your name, address, and phone number. Okay. And you can send that to Mr. Justin White. If it's going to go to Ms. Hahn, he'll just send that over to her. Okay. So make sure that you send it directly to Mr. White when you go to the chat function. All right, Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. Mr. Williams, you're before the court on 2024 CR 02865 for Lemuel Lydell Williams. You're charged with theft by shoplifting, count 1, no license, count 2, driving on a suspended or revoked license, count 3, no insurance, count 4, suspended registration, count 5, and no tag expired or invalid tag, count 6. You're represented by Attorney Justin White with the law firm of Lister, Holt, and Dennis. Mr. White, what does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
Your Honor, Mr. Williams is pleading nolo to count 1, 3, 4, and 6.
By entering a plea of nolo to counts 1, 3, 4, and 6, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, sir?
Yeah.
All right. Factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. The factual basis was on January 28, 2024. Officer Proctor was working an approved off-duty second job at Walmart located at 7 Riverdale here in Clayton County when while he was working, a Walmart asset protection employee was watching 2 suspects fill large plastic storage bins with merchandise. They were recorded on camera taking the bin with the unpaid merchandise and leaving the store through the automotive repair door in the rear of the store. The officer The asset protection agent, as well as the second officer on scene, had proceeded to the rear of the store where they met the two suspects as they attempted to get into a car that was parked. The officer then escorted the two individuals, a male and a female, back into the asset protection office. They received their driver's licenses and were identified as Mr. Lemuel Williams and Ms. Shantae Bailey. They ran their information through the system. Mr. Williams had active warrants out of Fulton, and Ms. Bailey had failure to appear. The officers and the asset protection agents retrieved the stolen merchandise from the storage bins. Searches were conducted incident to arrest, and there were several plastic drinking straws and a small white powdery substances found on Ms. Bailey, but not on Mr. Williams. They were taken into custody for the shoplifting, as the amount of the merchandise was less than $500. I do not have a specified amount. The officer had also watched the parking lot security camera footage to see when they had arrived. And while they were watching the video, they did see that Mr. Williams had drove into the parking lot driving the same Chevrolet Impala that they were attempting to get into, and that he was in physical control of the vehicle. And after running his information, saw that he did have a suspended driver's license. And that the vehicle itself also had no insurance and no registration. The state's recommendation on count 1 is 12 months to serve 15 days. The balance suspended on condition is not returned to any Walmart. Count 2 will be dismissed. Count 3 is 12 months, 15 days to serve. The balance suspended. No fine in consideration of the jail time. Count 4, 12 months, 15 days to serve. Credit for time served. The balance suspended. The $200 fine will also be suspended in consideration of the incarceration time. Count 5 will be dismissed. Count 6, 12 months, 15 days to serve. Balance suspended. Counts 1, 3, 4, and 6 to run concurrent to each other.
All right, Mr. White.
Your Honor, Mr. Williams had indicated to me that in regards to the shoplifting, that it was his understanding that the merchandise was bought and that the other person had told him it was bought, and that's why he was taking it out. Hence the reason for the no-low plea in this case, Your Honor. Of course, we don't have an excuse for the driving offenses, Your Honor, but that is the explanation in regards to the theft by shoplifting charge.
Mr. Williams, how old are you, sir?
58.
Ms. Williams, you just a hair older than me. You living life on the margins, sir. You need to get it together. So you say you didn't know the stuff was stolen, you thought somebody had paid for it, but we all been to Walmart. Don't nobody pile up a bunch of stuff in a plastic container and decide they're gonna take it out of the Walmart other than through the checkout. So let's be clear on that. Don't nobody pay for nothing and then take. It's not like Best Buy. Number one. Number two, you gotta get your life together, sir. I mean, you 58. We talking about people who, if they've been working a job, they close to retirement. They trying to figure out, how to downsize and live well. But you're still running the streets like you're 30. And I'm just saying, it don't bode well. I mean, you got to start thinking about what your future looks like instead of continuing to have the mindset that you can still run with these young folk. You can't.
Well, I do work now.
Okay, but then why would you jeopardize it and spend 15 days in jail running behind somebody that you know ain't doing right?
Well,
Because even if you're not using the white powder, she is.
Right. I've been locked up 73 days now.
Okay.
Since January 28th. I never got out. And they
Okay.
came to the FTA where I was at in Rice Street. And I had people
Okay.
in operation. Yeah.
So what I'm saying to you is maybe we need to make some different choices.
Yes.
Like I said, even if you are not doing white powder,
Right.
you know she is.
I No good.
Why
deed.
would you hang with somebody who's not following the right path? Think about it, sir.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
you in the third quarter of the game, and I can say that as somebody who right there with you.
Right.
What I'm telling you is it goes fast. And if you don't prepare for it, you're gonna be out there living on the margins. Like those people who I've just adjudicated who coming in and sleeping at the MARTA station or sleeping at the airport. Get it together, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? Get
Yes,
it
ma'am.
together. All right. So I'm going to accept your plea of no load counts 1, 3, 4, and 6. You'll serve concurrently 12 months, 15 days, credit for time served, balance will be suspended. You're not to go back to any Walmart in Clayton County. On count 4, the $200 fine will also be suspended, and 3, 4, and 6 will run concurrent with count 1. All right, you can go back with the sheriff's office, but remember what I said, when we get to the end of the game, you got to start thinking differently and acting differently.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sometimes it is too old. You know, the joke is you too old to be in the club, but you too old to be in the jail.
I really feel that way.
All right. Thank you. All right. Gabriel Window Park.